Oh, big stretch. Alright, I already healed up and stuff, right? But yeah, anyway. How do you like Colosseum so far? I think it's interesting. I think that the idea of catching other people's Pokemon with Shadow Pokemon and, you know, having to, you know, work towards, you know, not leveling up per se, moving that bar down, whatever the heck that mechanic is intriguing, and how they don't truly level up until you fully purify them. I think that's interesting. The entire game being double battles is pretty cool. Who would I want to lead with? Probably Lotus or something, right? I would imagine. That was pretty neat there. I wish that there was a little bit more stuff going on with, you know, the actual protagonist hero. The very beginning opening of the game of, like, stealing the portable Snagit machine and, you know, blowing up that base and zooming off made me feel like, whoa, this is actually going to be a really, really cool Pokemon protagonist that actually has, like, some story to him. Nah, doesn't seem like from what I can tell. There's actually challenge to it. You know, a lot of people have looked at Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and have been like, oh my goodness, you need to have open world to have challenge in a Pokemon game. It's literally impossible to have challenge without it being open world and you doing things out of order. Just play Colosseum. Just play Colosseum and that'll give you challenge. That game has genuinely pushed me. I made me go like, huh, how do I get out of this tricky situation? Just by playing the main game. It's crazy. It's really cool. Hi, I recognize you. You here to hit the slopes? I don't recall the snow being too good today. I came to say hi! What? Okay, now I really don't understand what you're up to. War crimes. Silent protagonist things. Oh, I see, you're here to cover Frigida. So your dream came true? You're champion rank now. You must be so happy. No. Oh, my bad. It sounded a lot more sarcastic than I'd intended. Don't get me wrong, I think it's really amazing. Just, it's complicated for me, that's all. Anyway, you came to test my skills, right? Let's just get this over with. Sure, let's do the thing. Let's head outside. Best hope it's not snowing. But I definitely don't think it's perfect, though. Like, you know, there's that one bit with the protagonist. I think my biggest issue that I have with it is just that, you know, all it really is battles and not really much else. Like, it's so inflated with battles before, like, actual story events happening. Like, I try to typically average out my parts for whatever playthrough on this channel, usually around, like, half an hour-ish. Going up to, like, Mirror B and challenging Mirror B, that alone is, like, 3 parts or something like that, going through that building and then going through... If I'm including the building, that might actually be closer to 4 parts or something like that in a row, of just going through the building, going through the caves, and challenging Mirror B. And then challenging What's-His-Face that had, Entei at the end of the, Battle Summit, or Battle Mountains, or whatever the heck the thing was. That was just like 9 battles in a row and then him at 10. So I think that was 3 parts as well, was that whole area, while I just told stories about like other stuff going on. So it can feel like a little bit of a slog at times. Like, I guess, you know, the home console Pokemon games before that point. The home console, like, Pokemon battling Pokemon games, I should say, before that point of Stadium and Stadium 2, didn't really have anything for a main campaign. Whereas this was the first one that did introduce it in addition to, like, the battle modes of being able to play Pokemon on a home console. So I guess I shouldn't have expected, like, too much from the campaign in terms of variety, apart from just, here's a whole bunch of battles. But it still can feel like a little bit of a slog to get on through things, you know? But yeah, weather's in your favor today, because the snowy mountains decide to be kind. Wouldn't snowing be, like, more in your favor if you're the Ice-type player? These league-mandated inspections happen a few times a year. If we don't show we're up for the job, we'll lose our positions as gym leaders. Gita always says it's just a formality, but I've already had to give up on being a pro snowboarder. If she takes away the talents I still have to show, then what'll be left? Sorry, didn't mean to bring the temperature down. It's simple enough, really. All I need to do is make sure the power of my Pokemon chills you to the bone. You know, like in things like the traditional mainline Pokemon games, even in Scarlet and Violet here. Whoa, what the heck is going on with that pole back there, that post? What is, huh? What was I even just saying? I've lost my train of thought now. What the heck is that? I'm so confused. What was I just saying? Oh yeah, even in mainline Pokemon games, even like this, there's enough other stuff going on so that you don't just get tired of doing battles over and over again. Like, you know, the puzzles, the minigame thingamabobs. Oh, it stopped snowing already. Because the weather's not my favor anymore. That was fast. Anyway, gosh dang, I'm losing my train of thought again. My goodness gracious. Conditions are alright, I guess. Good enough to defeat you anyway. Look, now it looks normal! Weird. Wait, you're just saying the conditions were, like, in my favor, but now you're like, conditions are alright, I guess. Anyway. You know, even games like this will have, like, enough variety with, you know, the mini-games that you did before the gym battles traditionally. Not to say that the mini-games in this were good. You know, some of them were interesting, but most of the mini-games before gym battles in this, I was not all that big a fan of here. Let's just go ahead and do that. But, even if they weren't good, it meant that I wasn't constantly battling, and meant that I didn't get, like, so insanely drained and tired of battling over and over again, like I've been finding myself with Colosseum, you know, is the case. So, So far I am liking Colosseum, but, you know, it's not, you know, perfect 10 out of 10. Like, I have complaints with it too, and stuff. You'll probably hit me with a physical attack anyway, right? But yeah, let's see here. Play Scarlet Violet out of order. There was a bit more challenge at the beginning, but that challenge came back during the latter part where it just becomes a cakewalk, even by Pokemon low standards. Yeah, that seems like a pretty typical experience with this game. Also, I'm surprised I went first in one shot. Like, maybe I just keep battling here. Someone really wants challenge and they got Nuzlocke and others, which you can do in any game. Yeah, you can also technically do that, as long as you don't do it, like, officially under Nintendo, because, I forget what their names are, but this is a clip that I think is in, like, chapter 1 of the video essay, where, the two hosts of Nintendo Minute, there was, like, this Twitter clip that I saw circulating around where they were chatting with each other, and they were talking about how they wanted to do a Nuzlocke. That might be a fun thing to, showcase and do. But apparently the Pokemon Company wouldn't let them do it, said that if they do it, they'd lose their jobs, because it's just as bad as ROM hacking. So, you can do things like Nuzlocks if you want, but in the eyes of the Pokemon Company, if you do a Nuzlocke, it's just as bad as ROM hacking. It's something awful that you should never do in their eyes for some dumb reason. Yeah, let's see here. I like the premise a lot, but I feel it stifles your team building options a bit too much. It can, but at the same time, that's a part that I actually kind of like in Colosseum thus far. In that, you know, in previous Pokemon games, you could go out into the wild, find, like, all myriad of wild Pokemon, whereas there, your options are very limited, and I find myself using Pokemon that I would never use in my party, like, ever in, like, any Pokemon game. And I find that interesting, you know? I do find it a tad interesting there. What I don't like, I haven't gotten, like, all that far in yet. We only just caught Entei. But with the difficulty of it, it feels very much like the game does force you into kind of using the legendaries if you don't want to get completely screwed. That's a drawback of, like, the limited nature. Because, you know, if you've got options like Skiploom, Sudowoodo, Remoraid, Entei, it's like, is it really a choice, or is it just, like, illusion of choice, you know? is what's really going on there. Yeah, let's see here. Nice to have a badass protagonist with a criminal background instead of grade 2 shoes that other games have had. Yeah, I like that. And especially before Mirror B, the game felt like Silph Coat. Yeah, I'm just going around doing battles all the time. Like, actual story events happening, like the stuff with Mirror B. I like that. And Mirror B's wacky theme. And just coming in with such unconventional parties compared to mainline Pokemon games. Like, Mirror B had, what, like 4 Ludicolo? It's so funny, you know? So you'll just terrasilize into pure ice here anyway. Nuzlocke are as bad as ROM hacking, pardon me, what? Yeah. Do you want me to find the clip? I could probably find it. Do I still have the game footage thingamabob open? Oh, by the way, when it comes to, won't let things heat up any further, time to bring the deep freeze. One of the things that I don't talk about too much in terms of, like, stress of working on video essays is, like, how much storage space it just, like, screws me in with my computer. Like, if I turn display capture 2 on here again, I'm planning on in the near future here, going ahead and, you know, replacing my big hard drive that I use for, like, mass storage here very soon. Because not like it's a small drive, it's a 4 terabyte drive. But I'm almost out of space here. And this is even after moving, like, so many things over to this thing that was, like, my old original hard drive from my old computer way back when and stuff. Because this old drive is, like, really slow and stuff. I wouldn't want to put, like, footage that I'm actively using in, like, editing projects in that. My video editor would, like, crash, probably. You know, this is the one that can load things a little bit faster. That's a better one. But it's almost out of space, is the thing here. Because here's a whole bunch of clips with, like, names. My, the actual parts of this series, I put a number in front so I know, like, where, like, what's where, instead of it just being, like, random titles, so I sort them like that. Like, if I want something earlier in my adventure, then here. I don't have every single part of my series. There are some that I don't have if they're not too important. But these are full, like, 1080p. These are downloaded right off of Twitch, as opposed to downloading them off of YouTube, where it only downloads at 720p, because at 1080p, YouTube stores the video and the audio separately for some dumb reason. So if you download a video off of YouTube, it's at 720p. So these are full, like, 1080p, full quality, download directly off of Twitch. And then here's a whole bunch of clips of, like, specific wacky things and, like, assets and weird things, you know? So there's that. But in terms of just generally these thingamabobs, about how much space does this take up? That's about 80 gigabytes of just my mainline stuff. I can't select everything. The moment you go above 100 items selected, it will not show you, like, the data sizes there. This is for a particular shitpost that I might just lead the video itself with. Oh, here's where I programmed Kofu's auction minigame and stuff. All kinds of fun things there. Could I select a bunch of things? Yeah, the moment you go above 100, it just doesn't let you do things there. But there is well over 100 gigabytes worth of footage in there. And I mean, I've been gathering footage of, like, other projects coming up here. While I've been working on the Scarlet and Violet video essay, the next big video essay is probably going to be Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I have even more footage of that. Like, I'm running out of space here. Like, okay, select about 100 items. That's 150 gigabytes. 153 plus 8. So 160 gigabytes of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 footage is on my computer now. So that's painful. So yeah, I need to upgrade my drive here pretty soon, is the case, if I want to not be royally screwed. 80 gigabytes is almost a 12th of an Activision game. Yeah, crazy, right? Let it freeze, let it snow, let it pile on top of us. Anyway, let's see here. Also, let me catch up on things that I missed there. The game is pretty easy, but man, honestly, at least Pokemon Legends Arceus could kick your ass very badly. Even the Volo fight. Volo fight was awesome. The Volo fight that led into Giratina is probably one of my favorite battles in the entire Pokemon series. And, you know, when I look at Legends Arceus, I have more negative things to say than positive things, you know. It's not like it's exactly a massive favorite game of mine. But, like, I gotta give it credit where credit's due. That Volo fight was amazing. So dang cool. I think you're getting a little hothead. Let me cool it down with this move. And the music that plays during it, chef's kiss right there. Absolutely, no doubt about that. But yeah, bro, the Volo fight, I assume that's meant to say Volo and not Volvo. Oh, come on! Isn't that like a 30% chance? I gave you Cynthia battle PSD back when you were a kid, didn't read English, and couldn't understand how the game works. Just remember how impossibly challenging Cynthia was. I struggled with Cynthia so much as a kiddo. Ah, crap, man. What are you gonna use from here? Probably like Ice Beam or something. I don't know. Let's just swap in here. To be fair, back then you didn't even know how type matchups worked besides what you imagined. For instance, you thought Flying would be super effective against Psychics. When you hit Psychic-type Pokemons, it should disturb their concentration. Yeah, that would make sense there. That, at least I knew stuff like that as a kiddo, but otherwise, you know. I went through the entire playthrough of, like, the first mainline Pokemon game I ever played was Diamond. Most people in my age range started with Generation 3. I started with Generation 4. I only got into handheld gaming a little bit later. I didn't realize that I should be expanding my team more, and I went through, like, the entire game with 2 Pokemon, my Torterra and my Staraptor. As those who have been around the channel for a while already know here, as I've mentioned that before during our Gen 4 playthroughs and stuff. With the good old Malos and Lyn. Of course, they weren't called that back then. both the references of those names were games that I had not yet played at the time. You know. I remember Activision and the Spyro Reignited problem by shipping the entire game of Spyro 1 game instead of the whole game of Spyro 1, 2, and 3. Was that what happened with that? I know that there's been, like, some cases like that with some other games. Like, Assassin's Creed Rebel Collection on the Switch ships with only AC4, not Rogue, when it's meant to be a bundle there. But to be fair, here in Canada, full-priced games are $80, and I consistently see that game on sale for like $30. So it'd be like, what, $20 in the US or something like that? So, if it's gonna be marked down that much, you know, I can, you know, I'm fine with that kind of thing. But if it's like full price MSRP there, then it's like, oh, yeah, that's a little bit sketchy. Which, speaking of, apparently Tears of the Kingdom, it sounds like, is gonna be more expensive than previous games. It sounds like it's gonna be $90 rather than $80 here in Canada. And like it's gonna be 70 rather than 60 in the US is what it sounds like from what retailers are starting to list it as. So there's that. Brain Passion. I kind of like it, to be honest. Thanks, man. Yeah, as far as you can remember, you started with Platinum, but the first time you got a... Whoa, that was kind of weird how it faded in through black while the text box was already there. Have there been any other instances across this whole game where that's happened, or am I going crazy? What is going on with the eyes of that lady right behind Grusha? Like, do they even exist? Like, what is that? Genuinely, what is that? Hold on. Put on top of everything. Game capture. Elgato. Hold on. Wait. No, not game capture. Video capture device. Video capture device. Add existing Elgato. Hold on. Let's take a little bit of a look-see here. And then, What is this? What is this? What is that? Dear Lord, what is that? Man, Gita must really have it out for me, sending someone there's no way I could beat. Still, no regrets on my part. I gave it everything I had. I hit you full force and I lost anyway. Made me feel frustrated. Makes me want to become stronger as gym leader. Put more of myself into it. This hurts a little bit to look at with how bright it is. That's a little bit better, but still very bright. I thought my passion had frozen over, but you've rekindled it for me. Thanks, Harmonia. I won't lose next time. You'll see. Okay, bye. Trying to catch a cold on your way down the mountain, eh? I love how the people continue to cheer despite the battle being over. You know, let's just see here. But the first time you got a level 100 Pokemon was a Heart Gold with a Dragonite you used to defeat Reg. Nice. And you start with the original Pokemon Gold or Silver. Not half bad titles there. But yeah, $70 USD now. Nintendo catching up with the AAA industry pricing. Yeah, it seems like that's what they might be following suit on. And they may as well release, like, probably the biggest release they'll have for this entire year. Like, one of the super standout massive titles that they know they'll be known for a long time. As the one that they mark up, and not like some niche thing that people are like, oh, why is it more expensive? People are like, oh my goodness, the Breath of the Wild sequel! You know, it's $70 USD. I can pay that, you know, so there's that. Nintendo actually learned that dynamic pricing is a thing and not everything needs to be $60 across the board. What an amazing revelation. Knowing Nintendo, though, they would probably just, like, have that be the first thing, like, at 70. And then, like, all their main titles from here are going to be priced that. And, like, Tears of the Kingdom is going to be the way that they ease people into it by releasing, like, the title that, out of any title that they could release over, like, the next year and a half, maybe 2 years, people would probably feel most incentivized to, you know, pay 70 USD for rather than 60, you know? So, I don't feel like they're doing it because it's like, huh, game prices can be different from game to game. I feel like they're doing it because it's like, this is the perfect opportunity to ease people into paying more for our games from this point onward, is what I honestly feel like. Considering that's the way that they approach things like their online service, where, you know, they'll gradually make things worse and worse to ease people into it. That seems to be their approach nowadays, you know? But for some reason, Gen 3 is very nostalgic to you instead of 4. Both definitely pretty solid generations. Wasn't Breath of the Wild alright $70 though? Not as far as I recall. At least in Europe it started at 70 euros. I paid $80 Canadian for it here in Canada, which is, you know, same price as any other full price game. So I didn't pay anything extra for Breath of the Wild. Maybe it was different in the States. Yeah, Nintendo Online membership would you still refuse to get? Yeah, that's understandable. Why are you up here? I was just randomly exploring while I was rambling. What are you doing up here? Like, huh? There really is Pokemon everywhere. Again, I'm so glad that I'm finally playing a Pokemon game where the Pokemon are existing naturally in their environments. Like, my immersion is unreal. Oh my goodness. Why can't I climb it? I just wanted to ramble here and randomly climb this hill. Like, what is this way that Pokemon spawn in this game? I swear. I just want to see the top of the hill. Bravement. Hi. Paldea's highest peak, one of the 10 sites of Paldea. Hey, look, it's the DLC area, which right now is just a bunch of rock. I assume that there's, like, ground level, it looks like, and then, like, rock on top of that, if you know what I'm talking about, where, I assume that that upper level of rock will be taken away and replaced with what the DLC area becomes when it's done. But right now it's just, like, you know, it looks like some sort of big creature just took, like, a dump on it. Hi. How are you doing? No! You better not. Okay, so Now do we go fight the people's champion? I guess. Do you run into me in the... Ah! Opening a menu in this game is so cursed, I swear. You, no. Get me out of here. You are so low poly over there, aren't you? Alright, people's champion Larry time? Because I'm fairly certain he's the last one here. I can't check on the max zoom out. That just shows me my... No! I didn't want to back out completely. I just wanted to go back to, like, the other level. I think it's just Larry now, right? Lawrence? Yeah, I think it's him. We can go up against him in that case. Let's do it! Let's fly to this spot. Let's do the thing. That was like a good plan there.